Gonna get the light, then gonna head through them in order, because why not? Order's good. Okay, so yeah, they definitely permanently changed the fact that these lights are lit instead of you having to light them, because nobody was in here and lit them. It's kind of nice, makes it faster. Or they might have done that just for people who have already been through the trials. Okay. Oh, there's another person in here. Totally fine. Let's see if I can get through the water one without losing my light. I'm in patience. Okay, that's the direction I'm aiming at. There is a certain amount of the water you can jump at without losing your light. Oh, there's 2 more people in here. Must be that time of day. Someone run at the next area? Yeah. Nice. Success. Sometimes it's worth running at them anyway, because it will register you as having gotten it. As long as you've lit it by the time that you get hit by water, usually you stay there. Not this time, though. Did, however, get raised up. Okay. Not bad. Oh no, they tried to follow me. Not good. Now, if there's a way to get to that candle cake before you have your water immunity, I don't know what it is. I have actually tried before. I didn't have the patience to figure it out. Oh, they're warping to me. I didn't know they could do that. Whee. Oops. Nice, they got to it. Good. Good for them. I'm not sure they're gonna get that one up, though. Okay. This trial I actually don't mind at all. It just takes a little bit of patience, but for the most part, not a problem. I did light that, so it should be popping up. Yeah, there we go. Wait till I rise up a little bit so I can jump onto it. Just stay above the water line. Next floaty rock. Can handle that amount of water. This was definitely one of my favorite seasons. I do kind of miss seasons being like this. It's a good amount of challenge. I'm falling in the water. The only thing I don't like about the trials is that sometimes my thumbs will get sweaty while doing them. Oh wait, I did actually get to the next. No, I didn't. I'm headed that way. Right? Yeah. Which leads to slips. That water I can handle up and over. Plenty of time. Hi, Ultra Galaxy. Yeah, a lot of people hate the challenges. Um, when they first came out, there were lots of people who were very angry because these trials were actually when we got the first third tier cloak. So everyone was really, really interested in seeing what the third level of the cloak would be. So while they were incredibly frustrating, because so what we have now with the trials is actually a toned down version. It used to be much worse. When they first came out, the wind trial was insane because half the save points weren't there. They hadn't actually put in a bunch of the save points. So if you fell, you went back really, really far. And the Earth trial, before anyone mapped it out, it was just a matter of finding your way through it. It was probably one of the easier ones, and same with this one. As long as you observe where the water is going and what sticks out, it's pretty simple. But it also is not what everybody wants to do, and I think that's why they haven't had more seasons like this, because it's a little more, I guess, challenging than people tend to like on Sky. This does tend to be more of a chill, calm game, and the trials, while some people find them fairly calming, like I actually very much enjoy this one. I find it kind of calming to do, but I don't mind the waiting. Okay, just barely got that one. I don't mind the waiting and looking for what is a good next step, but I do see how it would be frustrating. No, this is why I don't like playing with other people in here. Hitting friendship trees and dying because of it is not fun. Okay, we're gonna go. There are some times where I very much prefer playing solo, and other than the fire trial, yeah, being a moth and doing these would have been absolutely terrifying. I'd already been playing, let's see, this, I remember doing the trials while I watched the first season of Only Murders in the Building, and I think that was 2020? This year would be the fourth, yeah, they've done one a year, and this would be the fourth season, so that would be 2020 is when these came out, and I'd already been playing for a little over a year at that point in time. Oh no, almost 2 years at that point in time. So I was fairly experienced. The good thing with the trials, though, is that it didn't matter how much of a cloak you had. The cloak gets taken away, so everyone is equal here. The only difference between a moth and someone with a bigger, I guess, more experienced cape is just your experience with controlling your player. So it all depends on how experienced you are with how everything moves and what you can and can't do. And they do continue to change that, like not being able to jump in Eden anymore and things like that. So even if you are experienced, you may be experienced with the original way that they did everything. I started with the original way, and things have changed a lot. There's a lot of places that are really, really different. So every once in a while I'll get to an area that they've updated, and it'll just be like, that's not how it used to be. Okay, I've seen people do that, and I don't like it when people do that. Every once in a while, somebody, an older player will find a moth and like pull them into Wasteland first, or think it's funny to bring them through Eden or something along those lines. Mostly there are good players on here, but there was a really big problem a while back when, let's see, I think it was during this season, the Treehouse season. I don't remember what it was called, and I don't remember how long ago it was. But during that season, there was a really, really big problem with people pushing the people who are sleeping in their hammocks into water to kill them. And it ended up with a bunch of players getting kicked off because it really wasn't cool, and it wasn't okay at all, and it was not in the spirit of the game. So every once in a while when something new comes up, there are players who think that it's okay to mess with other people when that just is not what Sky is supposed to be about. Obviously, anyone can play however they want, but it's a pretty good community on here, and mostly it's people trying to help each other. Every once in a while, you'll get a slightly evil older player, and my bet would be that the veteran players who do that probably had it done to them and think it's some sort of like hazing thing. Yeah, as long as they guide you through and then make you do something fun and don't let you think that this is all that Sky is, then that's absolutely great. Not a problem at all. And if she's guiding you through the fire trial, you're good. Fire trial solo is an experience. I soloed it for many years before I brought anybody through with me, and the first time I brought someone through with me, I realized it's so easy, and I realized why everyone was saying it was easy in the beginning. Because if you went through it initially with even one other person, it takes like 15 minutes to get through. Super easy to go through. No challenge really, other than just kind of guiding yourself through a map. Soloing the fire trial is definitely, I'd say, like a rite of passage, and I think a lot of people probably have not and never will do that, just because that is really where the biggest challenge comes from. I also recently saw that if you do the win challenge with someone else, it's a lot easier too. I have never, and I don't think I ever would, but I guess you can warp to each other if you fall off, which stops you from falling behind. Hadn't occurred to me to do that, since I do tend to solo. Always have. I know it's a multiplayer game and it's meant to have community, but I never really like when there's challenges that involve multiple people, because people I play with aren't necessarily on at the same time as me. So I like being able to do it myself, which is why I've found ways to get through two-person doors on your own. You can trick the game by jumping back and forth, which is nice. Pretty much every door, as long as you jump back and forth at the right pace, you can trick it into thinking that there are two people. That's so nice. My first friends are no longer playing. It's really sad. Every once in a while I'll come across someone that I did make friends with. Actually, I think there's one person that I made friends with early on would be like in the first year of playing for me. I don't remember who I made friends with when. I made a cool friend pretty early on, and we exchanged hearts for a really long time. It's how I got as many hearts as I did. It was really nice to have someone who wanted to do that. That's not the right direction. But they haven't been playing for years. Most of my friend trees are fairly empty at this point in time, my constellations, because almost everyone I used to play with stopped playing because the game really changed between when we all started playing and now. Things are very, very different, and not everyone wanted to keep playing. But there is one person I do occasionally see that is at least from my first year. Not sure exactly how long in. Probably first year, maybe second year, I'm not sure. But somewhat older. I do need to start making more friends in game because my gathering of light for the hearts is slow. And I do still have some of the advanced cloaks to get, I think. Plus there's always cool stuff to get with hearts anyway. And I never really got the hang of leaving messages and getting hearts from that. One of the people I made friends with pretty early on. So when I first went through this is where I got stuck. I couldn't find this path here. So I spent forever the first night trying to figure out how to jump onto those rocks to float up. And it just obviously was not the right way. And then eventually I saw someone else go this direction. Out of bounds areas are awesome. It's kind of sad that you can't get to all of them with just yourself, but there are a lot of cool areas. And one of the things, depending on how fast I get through all of this today, I was messing with out of bounds areas in Eden earlier this morning, and I did find my way into the castle that is above the pipe area. It's a little trick, and I did not lose any wings. It's pretty safe, actually. So if I can figure out how to hit the pipes after that, it's going to be one of the safest ways to get through that area. But I did have to use the baby spell, and I would probably try a chibi mask next time. I do have a chibi mask spell, I just couldn't remember what it looked like. But there are definitely some cool out-of-bounds areas. I did a video on them over on YouTube a few days ago, messing with the other Coliseum that you can get to. Oh, I'm gonna fall off this. Maybe not. We'll see. Sometimes that works. This time I don't think it did. Yeah, and now I'm trapped. I think I will likely fall. Maybe not. Maybe I can get back to it. Okay, here we go. Actual success. Yeah, so I was playing around with out-of-bounds areas a few days ago, and I think I actually got over there. Nice. And found some slightly new areas. Also, one that I found, I don't know what it's called because it's not up anywhere and no one else is posting about it, but with the new area, if you jump to the right of the entrance, cave entrance that you fly into, you will get glitched to the outside of the new area. Oh, okay, so you do know those two skips, that's good. There's a lot of cool out-of-bounds areas. So one of the ones I like, the Eden ones are useful. The ones that I like are usually useless. But I started exploring them because there was a pretty bad glitch at the doorway of the temple in... Oh, brain not working. The temple, the Triumph. So there was a pretty bad glitch at the doorway of the Temple of Triumph. Back when it used to look the way it did before the skating season, there was a ramp. And it was really, really easy to fall through that ramp underneath the temple and get stuck. There was no way out. I fell through it a few too many times before I started checking out of bounds areas. Just like, what is going on and how do I get out of this? Because I kept getting stuck there. However, I was moving in just the right way to glitch through the floor repeatedly. And I wanted to know why. They have fixed it since they fixed the entire area. But that was definitely not a fun glitch. So after that, I started exploring out-of-bounds areas. And there's the top of the Sunny Forest is actually pretty neat. It's a bunch of tall pillars, because the trees don't continue on. They're kind of like petrified trees. So if you fly up high enough, you can just get to like sitting on the tops of those trees. And then the other one that I think it was originally kind of out of bounds, but then they stopped it being out of bounds because it was very useful, is the newest area in Daylight Prairie, the one that's like mountain peaks and flower fields that I never remember what it's called. The easiest way to get to the winged light on the top of the mountain is to break through an invisible barrier up above within the bird cave. So you fly up it until you hit an invisible barrier, and then you just kind of push through it until you get through. And it'll launch you like really, really far into the sky, so you only have to fly about half the distance up the mountain, if that, depending on how well you launch. And I don't think that was supposed to be there, but I think enough people liked it and talked about it that they actually got rid of that barrier. Whoops. You've gotten stuck in orbit? That's not fun. I've never gotten stuck in orbit. That seems really frustrating. Does that make you have to go all the way through Eden again? Or I guess if you're completely stuck, that would be just like shut down the device and hope something happens at that point. I used to know the exact right sequence to do this, and I could get through on one try. But I haven't run these in a long time. Up until like a week ago, I hadn't done these in over a year. And some things have definitely changed. No. One of the glitches I'm not a fan of that has been going on forever is one of the wing buffs never registered for people to get it on this side of reincarnation. So you'll always go through with one fewer. It's like, oh no, what did I lose? And it only pops in after you reincarnate. Oh, you just got stuck up at the top and you kept flying through. That's really frustrating. I don't think I've ever shut off the game while I was in that area. I don't know what happens. There are definitely some not great glitches in here, but it is still fun enough that I don't mind them as much. I've seen people get pretty mad about the number of glitches, but sometimes they're kind of cool. I'm not getting up that. I have gotten stuck at this part before. My patience isn't always good enough to get through it first go. I have also found that spamming the jump button does tend to get me through just fine, which is probably not good because I'm sure there's a proper order for this. And I don't remember what it is. But it's not this. If you were around for the season that had the arc, there was a glitch they actually left in. But it's not there anymore because it was only specifically for that season. There were mushrooms they were originally going to have everybody gather. I think they had extra... Do you remember if they had extra light or extra daily candles? Like seasonal candles? I don't remember what the mushrooms gave you, but they weren't actually supposed to be in the final version. They were left over from the beta and something they decided they didn't want to have in there. But for some reason, two of them stayed. So that was long enough ago that the max capes were, I think, they were at least 10. They might have been 9. And you needed 6 to get up to one of the mushrooms, which was a big deal at that point. At this point, some of us reincarnate in with 6 or more, so it's not quite as big of a deal to have 6 wedges, but at the time it was. So the mushroom was exactly 6 flaps up in the air. If you were doing it solo, it was a lot easier if you did it with another person. So one of them was really high up above the arc, over by the cave that has one of the winged lights in it. And the other one was actually one you had to glitch through the ground using, at the time, there was only one chat object. Wow, you had it happen to you twice? It is weird that that happened twice because I haven't heard of that happening to other people. But I do think a lot of the glitches that happen in here come from the fact that there are so many people on this one server and they're kind of... I don't actually know how it works. I'm not sure exactly what they do with this, with popping people in between, because you'll go in with a friend and unless you're holding hands, they may not end up in the same version as you. So I'm not sure exactly how they do this all, but I think that's one of the problems. The areas that more people are in have more bugs going on because I don't think the server can completely run the number of people that are in these at this point in time. So the most buggy areas are generally going to be the new, they're not called shared spaces, the ones with all the weird floating people, have all the group stuff in them, start of the season of Aurora. They tend to be the buggiest. So I'm curious, the glitching out at the end, were they during seasons where they made you go through the end? So either Little Prince or, how was the first one that did it? Oh, yeah. The concerts and those, the mass ones where they're actually putting everyone in one place, they're pretty buggy and they cause a lot of bugs, so I would bet that's probably what happened. If it was going on during that, they were trying to set all sorts of records with most players online at once, and they did, but it definitely didn't work so well for the actual players. It's a little more than they can run, and hopefully they'll either split it up into different servers for different areas or something, because that, I think, is what causes a lot of the glitches. My experience is that if it's an area that is overpopulated, so wherever the dailies are, will usually be a lot more glitchy. So if you're playing with a friend and you get that low Wi-Fi signal, it's usually going to be in an area that has too many players in it, or whatever the Wi-Fi signal is. It tends to be problematic. So I would guess with the number of people playing now, they have to be looking at a way to stop that from happening. Whether that's splitting servers or whatever they want to do. But they have to come up with something, because it's gonna keep growing. Sky seems to continue getting bigger and bigger. Although I'm not sure what the difference is in players now from the beginning. I would assume it's significantly more, but also a lot of the people I played with in the beginning aren't on here anymore. The wings are really pretty. You know, you can go get them in the, you can get a spell for them, temporarily go snag them in the birthday area. I think they stay for about 5 minutes. But as long as the birthday area is going, you should be able to grab them a couple of times. I did not get those. They weren't ones that I particularly loved, and the Aurora season annoyed me with the way it worked, so I didn't get the season pass for that. It's been a while since I got a season pass. Yeah, there's a few cloaks you can go get. There's 3 different ones you can go grab from the birthday area. Not where you go to the area that everyone's in, but when you go through the shop to the roof of the office, you can get the Aurora wings. You can get, I think it's not the pirate cloak, it's the red and green one. There have been too many seasons. I was only not on for 2 of the seasons. The first 2 seasons I missed, and I don't remember what's where anymore. Some of them. I liked the Season of Flight very much, and the Season of Dreams. Those are 2 of my favorites other than Prophecy, so I do remember what came from those. But a lot of the recent ones I haven't liked as much, so I didn't end up getting the season passes, and I don't remember what came from what. But I do know there's at least one, it might have been Days of Nature this year cloak that's available over in the anniversary area. It's white with rainbow bits, kind of looks like a clamshell. Yeah, if you like the music part, and also it is really pretty. They are very, very pretty. For me, the way I decide if I'm going to get a season pass is if the ultimate gifts are ones that I really want, because everything the spirits have will come back when they're traveling spirits. And if you have a decent stockpile of candles and hearts, you can get anything. So if it's just something that one of the spirits has, or in this case, I guess the 2 little, whatever's in that back room, All that stuff is stuff that you will have access to essentially forever. You just have to make sure you're around when the spirits come back. And it is only a 1-season ban for when the spirits can come back. So that used to seem like forever, but there are so many seasons now. By like Christmas time, it's possible we'll start getting these spirits back. Yeah, if you want the ultimate gifts, then... Oh no, I didn't need to do that. That is not a meditation spot. If you want the stuff that's in the ultimate gifts, then it's definitely worth it, and it's nice to support them. There is a decent cloak. It's possible I may end up getting it. I'll see. Oh no. I missed. I don't usually miss on here. Okay. We're going back. Some of the in-app stuff is fairly expensive. So like if you want to get a founder's cape, which I have not bothered doing. I wasn't a beta player, so I don't have the beta cape, and I haven't found the need to go to the office more often than there are events, so I have not gotten a founder's cape. I do get why people would want it, especially if you want to gather as much light as you can, because the amount of light that's in there, the amount of light that's in the office is actually quite huge. So if you have a need for lots of candles, I can see the founder's cloak being quite useful, but there's not that much to do in the office area anymore, except on events and in event times. These days they don't even make you walk all the way to the gate to get in. You can just teleport from home, which is convenient, but I don't necessarily like it as much. It was fun having to go and talk to the little spirit in the office to get pulled through the gate. Whoops. I do like in this area they stopped making it so that whichever island you landed on would be your last save point, because it sucked falling down and actually landing on one of the save areas. Yeah, there are some that I've gotten to. I often do the Days of Nature one because I like what they support with that. I don't know if I got the rainbow pants. I got one of them. It might have been that one. Been a lot of Days of Rainbow, and I've got some of the stuff. I hit the point where I've been playing this long enough that I don't necessarily buy everything anymore. In the beginning I did. I don't like all the designs anymore, so I'm more picky about the ones that I get. And the other thing is now they actually... So it used to be, in order to get extra candles with your season pass, you had to buy it before the season came out, and you didn't know what was going to be part of the ultimate gifts and everything. So I would tend to get them. And I think the last one that was like that was the Treehouse season. Yeah, the anniversary cloak is gorgeous. I have not gotten it. I don't know if I will. I do have favorites that I tend to wear, and I have a very, very big wardrobe at this point in time, which is also where I'm a little more picky on what I get, because I know the ones that I'm actually going to bother putting on over or choose to wear instead of the ones that I already have that are my favorites. So the Phoenix one is always going to be one of my favorites, and I don't think there's any way for anyone who wasn't part of that season to get that at this point in time. And nothing has really come out since then that is quite as just like stunning for me. No. Oh well. Building up the wardrobe is, for me, the fun part of this game. So I used to get as much as possible. Okay, I don't know why I'm missing this so badly right now. I used to get as much as possible, and I've unlocked all of the different trees. I've been around long enough that most of the spirits have come back as traveling spirits. So anything that I did miss in the first 2 seasons, I've gotten. I've unlocked everything from those. The ones, I think I stopped with Season of the Little Prince because I just did not like the aesthetic. I didn't end up getting the season pass there. I was not happy about getting the season pass for the Treehouse season because I didn't actually like any of the stuff in it. That was the last one that I got before they made it so that you could see. They switched it so no one got like pre-season passes. And I think you still, if you get them in the first few days, I think you still get the extra 30. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But the Treehouse season was the last one that I actually got with the pre-order, and it was just very disappointing. It wasn't my style at all. And I kind of wished that there was some way to take that one back. So I'm definitely more picky about the seasons I get at this point in time. Mostly I'll wear stuff from the Season of Flight and the Season of Dreams, and occasionally, like, I do like the Days of Flowers cloaks. Tend to put those on, and then I'll pick bright outfits for if I'm going through Eden, just in case I forget to turn up my brightness or something. Occasionally, if you're in a dark area, a bright outfit helps with seeing yourself, and occasionally it kind of lights up the area, which is nice. I'm trying to remember what stuff there is for wardrobe other than the standard stuff. Mostly just waiting for traveling spirits to come by. Yeah, Season of Flight is amazing. I don't remember, is Moments the one with the masks? I can't remember which one Moments is. The blue and orange cloak is one of my favorites, the feathered one. Oh, blue and orange cape from Flight is one of the ones I wear all the time. It's one of my favorites. And there's outfits from that season as well. They are some of my favorites too. And the ultimate gift was wings for your head, which I normally wear. I don't have those on right now, but they're definitely some of my favorites also. I don't remember which one Moments is. Wait, Moments would have been the one in the archive, right? I don't think I did season pass for Moments. Don't know if I have those. I can't remember. There's definitely lots of very cool stuff though in all the different seasons. Most of the seasons had at least one good thing in them. Some of them had a lot of good things in them. I did like the stuff that's always available in Little Prince. I think the sword outfit is one that you can get no matter what. I don't think that was one you had to have. Oh, Moments is the one with the camera. Yeah, I liked that season. That was cool. I think I did actually get... Oh, no, I didn't get the pass for that one. I don't remember what the outfits are either. There was, like, at least one Cowboy Hatted one, I think. I think that season was sometime last year. It's bad. I've forgotten when all the seasons are. I have a general idea of the order in which they happened, but the outfits sometimes blend together a little bit. There we go. So this is the area that was really horrible when this first came out, because none of these save points existed up in this particular section. So we had tons of people just failing this final area for like an hour after this season, after this particular trial came out, because you'd end up going back so far and then hitting these candles after you've lit them. It's less violent now than it was when it first came out, but it was much harder to hop on these and ride them after they'd been lit. So if you didn't hit it the first try, you were in trouble. But they did fix that fairly quickly, which is good. because it's made this area so much easier to deal with. But it was one of the more frustrating things. And that and just going through the fire trial without knowing. There's a map now. You can go on the wiki, you can grab the map, you can see exactly where everything is. I don't remember which is which. Lively Navigator. Which season is that from? Nightbird Whisperer should be the one that was inside the cave in the prairie area. Yeah. I used to have 500 candles at any given time. If you run them daily, these days it might not be as easy to keep that kind of stock because there is so much stuff to get. But it used to be pretty easy to maintain about 500 candles at any given time if you ran your dailies every day and did a candle run every day. It was during COVID. It was a lot easier to have the time for all of that. But I don't know. I think there's a lot more stuff to buy these days, so it's harder to keep up that kind of stock of candles. I do remember when the season The Little Prince came out and the final thing cost 200 candles and everyone was just so angry because almost nobody had that kind of stock of candles. And luckily it stuck around. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. That one's been back, I think, twice. But since it is completely random, it could be any spirit at any point in time. It's been a while since that one came back, though, I think. And I don't think it's actually technically completely random because we've never seen the same spirit come back 2 weeks in a row. And if it was actual real randomness, there would have been at least one spirit come back 2 weeks in a row. I'm sure someone has done what kind of patterns there are with the traveling spirits returning. Now that there are so many seasons, there have to be patterns. And they have to be keeping some out. Because with true randomness, you'd end up... There was one that came back repeatedly when they were doing it really random. It was the sassy stance from the first area, from Dawn. It came back 3 times within the first year because it was real random. And people got very annoyed with that. So I'm wondering if they might have switched it up so it's not actually properly random anymore. And they might cut out some that have come back a lot of times. I'm not sure. I haven't actually checked. I used to keep a sheet to know which ones I'd gotten and hadn't gotten before the wiki had a nice little chart of who'd come back when. I think we know who's coming back this week. I just don't remember who it was. I saw it on the Facebook group. The official Sky Facebook group posted, wait, are these candles not lit? These candles aren't lit. Okay. So it just happened that every time I've been through these recently, someone has been there before me and lit all the candles. I don't think the spirits of shattering are coming back. That is one weird thing with that season. There weren't really spirits, and I don't think they can come back in the same way. No one has been able to get into those voids since the season ended. So I'm not sure what they're going to do with that. It might just be one of those, if you weren't there for it, you're out of luck and you can't ever get it. I haven't heard anything one way or the other about it. But those are pretty cool. I'm pretty sure I got a season pass for that one, I think. I don't remember what the ultimate gifts were for it. But I do have most of the stuff from that. And I do think that I have a season pass from that. I have to remember what the ultimates were. And the Shattering Void was amazing. I wish we could get back into the Shattering Void because it was just so neat. For a while, okay, so we can't. For a chunk of time, the Chinese server could. And I was very jealous about that. I don't know if they still can. So I guess there are actually 2 servers for Sky. The Chinese server has some stuff that's different. And one of the things is that they could, after the season ended, still get into the Shattering Void. through one of the red crystals. So when the red crystals show up and you do the whole thing to get into that void, there would be another portal, I think. Haven't been in one, so I'm not actually sure how it works, but from what I saw, there'd be a portal within the red crystal shattering voids to get to the actual full void. And I kept trying to get back, and I explored all of the different red ones to try and get in there. Okay, apparently I'm doing this with another person. Last time I did this, I had another person too, and sometimes it's nice, but if it's not a friend that you actually have coming with you, it can be a liability, so we're gonna see how long this takes. So I don't know if the Chinese server still has access to that void. I haven't checked recently, but that's something that I was very jealous of their server for, because it's neat, and no one since that season has been able to get to it, and it would be really cool to be able to get back into that if there was some way from Aviary that we could get to it, a portal somewhere, because it was different. It was really different from anything else they'd done. Very frustrating season, very difficult, but also really cool and unique. So I would love to have access to that again. The thing is, it wasn't actual spirits, and that's why they can't come back the same way that traveling spirits do. It was different. I don't know if you've seen videos of that void, but it was basically a creature of light and a creature of dark. And you got your cosmetics from those two, rather than from actual spirits. So I don't know how they'd bring them back, because they weren't the same thing. Kind of like they haven't had the Rose come back from the season of The Little Prince. Every once in a while there's something that is really different, and they never come back. Hey, back to my 3. Nope. Oh well. So I'd have to check and see what their plans are with those, if they're ever planning on bringing them back. I think it's been over a year since Shattering. It's been a while. So I figured they would have a plan by now if they were going to. But maybe not. They seem to have the next few seasons planned out, because we have the Moomins coming up. And I didn't check into it, but I saw something on YouTube about them doing some Sailor Moon collab. I have no idea if that's real. It'd be pretty cool if it was. That would definitely be the season or collab that I would get. But I need to actually check into it and see that it isn't just a fan theory. But I do know the Moomins one is real. I think it's the next season after this one. Okay, there we go. I did used to use the map after the first few runs and the insane frustration. It helped me figure out, oh, no, I'm gonna die. Helped me figure out what the layout of this is. You can see it from the top, but it's harder to see from down here. I don't need the map for the first 2 levels, but I used to use the map for the 3rd level. At this point in time, I do know generally the path, but I have not regularly done this in a while, so the 3rd level may take a minute. I have gotten lost in the 2nd level before too, just because the area of light is so low. It doesn't matter how high I turn. No, bad timing. Doesn't matter how high I turn my light up. Sometimes I just can't get it. First time I did this was in the middle of the night, because this trial is when this trial came out was when we got the 3rd tier, except it wasn't. And that was something I don't think anyone was happy about for a while. So those of us who'd worked our butts off to have it so that the second the season came out, we would get that 11th wedge. Went through it. We had an 11th wedge, but we did not have the extra marking on the back of the cloak indicating that we had 11. I think it took at least a month for them to actually come up with that next marking. People were hypothesizing and trying to guess what it would be for a very long time. And then it finally happened and nothing changed. And there was definitely a very cranky group of people. Okay. I see it coming as long as... Oh, there we go. Safe. Should be close to the end of this particular level. Okay, I'm being told that I did get the Season of Shattering Pass. Okay. So I do have whatever there is from the ultimates there. Okay, where's the next one? Oh, there it is. Oh, that was a bad plan. Oh well. At least I am close. Safe point. I do find it easier to get through this with the candle out. It's unfortunate that like glow potions don't work in here, because that would be so much easier. But I do understand why. This is definitely one they wanted you to do with other people. Make you put your candle away fairly quickly. And if you jump, the candle goes away too. Which I don't like, but is what it is. Okay, safe spot. If anybody is not used to doing the trials, you can know that candle clusters are always safe spots. So if you're worried about where the next one is, I can see it in the distance. But if you're worried about finding the next one, stop at a multi-candle. Most of them are 3, a couple of them are 2. So candle clusters are safe, so are corners of walls, if you have not memorized the map. And if you are not used to this, the best bet is to wait at one of those until you see one of the dark creatures go by. Because they don't tend to come right after each other. There is actually like a timing to it. So you can wait at clusters because you're always safe at these. And you can wait for the next creature to come by. Now I do... Oh, there's 2 directions and I don't remember which way it is. I think it's that one though. We should be good going this way. I think this is a corner we have to go around. I can't remember. But I do know the second direction. There's 2 paths for this area of the second level. Sometimes they get turned around and wind up going backwards, but I'm pretty sure I'm going the right direction here. And we should be close to the bottom of the mountain and to the next safe spot. Yeah, this should be it. Not quite. Then there's just one more path before we get to the mountain, hopefully. But you can see how this would be much easier with a friend because they keep you lit. And I did not know that about going with a partner when I was soloing this. Okay, there we go. Oh, it got me. I didn't realize that doing this with a partner would keep you lit. I figured you'd just have someone to go through it with. But, I don't know, it almost seems like a little bit of a cheat to have that be how it works. If you do this with a partner, you just stay lit and can explore wherever you want to. I had the candle, there it is. But if you solo it, then you lose your light and you have to be very careful. But since this is meant to be a multiplayer, play it in pairs group game, I do get why they did it. Okay, I did not find the candle. But sometimes I wish it were not so group oriented. Because while it was great during COVID, there's just not as much time to play it with friends anymore. Not that way. Not that way. I keep losing this one. I think this is where I got lost last time too. It is out here somewhere, and there we go. Okay. I have at least lit it so I know where it is when I head back that direction. Okay. There we go. There is the next one. And I can see the next one, so I'm good. And that should be multi-candle, safe spot. I don't know why that one candle is just so far away that it makes it difficult. I see the next one. Have to be getting close. Let's see. I'm gonna pull out my candle just because, and as long as I don't jump, I'm fine. Although I don't want to lose my light, so I am gonna take breaks in between. Although I shouldn't rest at any of these, I should rest at the triple because there is someone coming. Okay. Wait for it to get by, and then I can see the direction I'm aiming in. Nope, go back. It is always worth going back to a safe spot if you see one of those coming, because the other option is to jump into the darkness, and if you're with a friend, that's absolutely fine. And that's not going to cause any problems at all. But if you're playing solo, you're going to lose your light when you jump into the darkness. So I guess that is the other advantage of playing with someone else in this particular one. You can avoid the dragons by just getting out of their way. Or I guess they're not dragons. These are not the krill. These are just like monsters of darkness. Okay, where is the next one? Not that way. Not that way. I feel like we have to be close to the actual end, unless I got turned around and have been wandering an area that I don't need to be in. But if there are three, there's gotta be one of these directions has the candle in it. There's a darkness guide that way. Should be. Get back to the light. Oh, I see it. There we go. Sometimes it's just about turning your screen, your view around until you can see where you're aiming for. And I don't feel like having to go back again, so I'm just going to hang out here until it goes away. Then it has to be close. Oh, there it is. I see it. I'm going to aim for it and hopefully hit it before I go out. Nope. Okay. Shouldn't take too terribly long to get through this, but it is more frustrating playing solo. Wait, am I going the right direction? Yeah. This time I am not holding my candle out because I want to go fast, and the candle goes away as soon as you jump. Okay, save spot. I can skip right to that one there instead of having to go through this one. And I think, yeah, around the corner. I do like that from the top of this one you can see the pathway that you came through. Okay. I feel like I missed one. That seems way too far to get to. Okay, next one. I'm gonna jump out of the way, and I still got it. Oh well. I can get there. I don't mind doing this so much, but there have definitely been times I've played this and it just gets so frustrating because getting turned around in the dark is no fun. But I've never been frustrated playing with someone else in this area because you kind of just walk all the way through it without a problem and dodge the darkness creatures. I am gonna hang out here until the next one comes by, which gives me time to get some water. Okay. And I have plenty of time to go between these. I have learned to watch the little flame because it does go down pretty fast. Hang out here and be safe. Okay, here, and there has to be one in between these two. That seems way too far away. But also this has to be close to the end because this has been way too long in one area. And I see so many of them now. No! Well, I'm close. But yes, I do very much get how many people, both new and veteran players, don't like this section, or the trials in general, and avoiding them is great. But if you want to gather the most lights possible, doing a trial run, it's probably not going to be the shortest, but it does give you tons of light. Oh, yeah, it was behind me. Okay. I am going to get through this because this is only the second level, although I do have the third level memorized because I did it so many times. Because figuring that one out first time was not fun. Not fun at all. The second level I used to not have a problem with, so I didn't have to memorize it so much. So I don't have it as well understood. Nope, go back. I don't have it as well memorized. So I definitely missed some stuff. Okay. And this way. I feel like I got turned around. I really do think I must have gotten turned around in here. No. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I am a little turned around and I am taking a path that I should not be taking. There has to be a third path here, then. If I'm going the wrong direction. I know there's a corner to go around, and I think this is it. But I am not accustomed to these at the moment. There was a time I ran them all the time and I had them memorized, but now is not that time. And I don't entirely remember how level 2 works. And there's a point at which I will pull up a map if I keep being lost, because it's no fun to continue watching Lost. Or I don't know, maybe it is. It's probably cathartic to people who don't like this area, seeing how difficult it is for people who have been doing this from the beginning too. It's just always going to be a little frustrating. Fire trial if you're doing it by yourself. I don't think there's a way around that. But I do think I have to be close to the end. I don't know why there's so many candles here, except that I'm sure that I got turned around, but hopefully I lit that one. I think the ledges is the wrong direction, which means I missed something somewhere and I'm not going the right way. Generally, I think aiming towards the floating lights in the distance is the right way to do it, but those are new. We didn't used to be able to see those when this first came out. You couldn't see the eyes of the shadow monsters. Okay, there is someone that direction, so I wonder if I went the wrong way. And there's a candle over, there is a candle over here. Okay, let's try this. think I remember what this area is supposed to look like, but I don't quite. And I am wondering if I'm going the wrong way. No, because the direction they go in is usually the direction we want to go in. You do tend to... Yeah, I definitely came that way, and I'm definitely going this way. Just pause enough to get enough light to make it to the next section. Okay. Technically, I could probably try warping to them, but then I'd be even extra lost. So I am going to stay put and go my distance. Okay. Okay, so there are candles that way, which are lit. I'm gonna try going this way this time. There's the trio that I was at before. It is safe. That is a short way to go. I think that direction is still the way out. But I don't remember. That's the problem. I don't remember which way I'm supposed to be going. Okay, this goes along there, so there's definitely not a way to go that way. And I am not going to get out of the way fast enough. Maybe I will. I don't know. We'll see. Safe. Okay. This is the part of the second area that I don't know. I'm at the light. There doesn't seem to be another path. And I want to get by it. I just want to get over to that candle. Okay. I know there's an easy way and a hard way. I just don't remember what's what or how either of them work. Should probably get better at remembering how this particular area functions. I do feel like this original path I was taking is going to be slightly safer. For me, at least. I'm gonna wait for that monster to come by. And that one. Okay. I'm gonna head straight for this one over here because I think it's the shortest path to where I'm aiming. Don't want to lose my light. Go back. I think there's a 3 candle somewhere close by. Yeah, I'm gonna hang out here for a minute. And remember... I think I'm going this way. I'm pretty sure this is where I keep dying. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna try going this direction and see if it lights a path, but there we go. I knew I was close. I knew I had to be close. Okay. 2 is frustrating because there's multiple paths. 3, there's multiple paths, but I know what they are and exactly where not to go. So as long as I stick to the paths I know in this particular section, I'm good. Yep. Finally, victory. Floor 2 didn't used to be so challenging for me. I used to know the path. This floor, I have done so many times because I messed it up so many times. I know it very, very well. Floor 2 was easy, so I didn't do it as many times. So I don't know what the path through it is. So this is a really good instance of failure is helpful. The places I've failed most in this game are the ones I know best now, and the places that I had no problem with are the ones that can be quite challenging. Okay, I don't see any bad creatures. So in this area, the safe spot is over to the left of where I just was. But just because I know what the path is doesn't mean I'm going to succeed at it without any problems. Okay, so the next spot over here. There is one coming at me, and if I can get out of the way while it's there, except I didn't succeed at that, but that's okay. Okay. Gotta get through this little corridor. Problem is in the corridors, there really isn't anywhere to hide from them. So if they come at you, you're kind of just trapped. Okay, corridor. Now, this is where this one breaks off into two different areas. Go left, not right. And we do have one coming. There are some random safe spots that are not necessarily expected. Oh, that's the person I was working with. Cool. Okay. So we go through the first corridor. Keep my light out. Head into here. And then we don't want to go right. We want to go left. There is a path to the right, but it is not where you want to be. Now, there is a candle over this way, which is usually safe, even though it's not 3. Okay. For some reason, I am having trouble lighting the candles today, which is annoying. But that's okay. I will get through this trial. The other good thing about doing this in the beginning of your wing run is that literally everything else seems easier and significantly less frustrating. Okay, back to the start. We will succeed. I guess this is kind of something you kind of have to be in the mood for. If you're in the right mood, it's super duper fun. But if you're not really in the mood for it, then it can be extremely annoying and challenging. Okay. I do see one coming, and it came at me, and I did not have a place to hide. I'm pretty sure there is a triple candle there somewhere, and that's what I was trying to find, and for some reason I'm not finding it. There is a save spot. I don't remember where it is, though. Let me go around the corner. Over here is usually pretty okay. You just want to stay out of the way of them. Get the corner here. There we go. Okay, so we do need to light this whole side, and once you've saved there, you're fine. Because you can pretty much light up this whole cave. We're headed into this crevice, and normally I wait for them to come through because you're just gonna get hit by the darkness, but if I can make it in anyway, no reason not to. Okay, so I don't like getting caught on the other player. And this is why I don't really love playing this with other people, because you can get caught on the other player like that just happened, and like it messes up the timing and it makes it difficult. So if you're not playing with someone that you're friends with, sometimes having other players in with you and trying to play with you makes them a little bit of a liability. If you can communicate with the people you're playing with, then it's fine. But I've never seen anyone use chat bubbles in here. I'm sure they do. Or they're actually, like, playing together. Okay, we're gonna wait for that guy to go by. And the next one to go by. Then we'll start this as soon as it goes in. And I don't love that we can see a little further into the distance now. Okay, heading in. Should be fine. Go to the side. Except it wasn't. Okay, this is a section that I don't like having someone else in here with me. I'm sure that doesn't make me the best player, but I like soloing this area. I don't like getting caught on people. Okay, I'm going this way. So I had headed the wrong direction. This is the direction I want to go, and this is the candle over there that's safe. So once I can get it lit, we have a safe spot. I just don't like them following me because I get caught on the friendship trees and stuff, and I'm not a fan. Okay, next one. Want them out of my way. I know, I'm not a good veteran player for that. Problem I have is that I tend to guess how well I can rely on another player to help rather than getting in the way based on the number of stars they have on their cloaks. So when they don't have any, because we're in the trials, it's really hard to tell. Because you know, if somebody has 12 stars, that they've been here since the trials came out. So you know they've been through all the different versions of them and they know what they're doing for the most part, or at least are not going to get in your way. So like, I don't have this down perfectly exactly, but I'm not going to get in anybody's way. But if someone hasn't been around and they're quite new, they may not know what they're doing and they might get in your way. So we do want to go around this corner. First path. We like corners. Corners are good. Corners are safe. That's fine, as long as you find. So if you haven't done this a lot, as long as you can find what your path is. Okay, there is someone coming. Dark creature coming. Stay out of its way. For the third area, as long as you can figure out what your path is by lighting things, you're mostly good. Okay, well that one's following me, so. The issue I'm having is that we can see further into the distance than we used to be able to. So it used to be, the pattern was I could stand here and wait for 2 to go by, and then it was safe to go in. Now I can see further into the distance, so I can't tell which ones are coming. At least not in the same way that I used to be able to. So it used to be this one and then a second one. Those two right there. They'd go by and then it was safe to head over this direction. And now I see a third coming, which shouldn't have been. And I will probably get hit. No, I didn't. Okay. No, I did. Yeah. There's a different pattern than I'm used to. So I'm gonna chill here. Especially when I see the camera shaking. And I'm going to wait for 2 to come by. That one went in. There's the next one. I think I might need to wait for a third at this point. Yeah, so there's the third. We'll wait for the third to go by and then head in. Because see how they just got by that third one? It's the third one that's the problem. So we need to wait for the third one, then we can head in. We want to make sure to head this direction. And I do need my light out. There is a corner that's safe, and think it's right here. Maybe. Yeah, okay, so this is a safe corner. If you need a place to rest, this corner is safe and you're fine. We're going to head off in this direction next. But I am going to wait for whatever dragons are coming by to go away. Not dragons. Dark creatures. Smoke monsters? I'm not sure. I'm sure there's an official name. I just don't remember what it is. Okay. Nope. There's another one. Go back to the candle. Okay, now pull out my light and head this way. So this is actually a very simple map if you know where you're aiming for. It is not fun to try and figure out. So we are in another safe corner. And we are going to again head the same kind of direction. Out this way and this way. It's good to have the safe corner, because while it isn't a save point, so I now do have to go all the way back and start over again, but this is, you see why this is an area that I remember quite well, because it involves starting over a lot. So once you know what the pathway is, so I'm waiting for one to go in. This next one should go right into that pathway and then I can follow it. Okay. We are following and trying to not get caught on the other player. This is a game about timing. All of these trials are very much about figuring out the right timing and failing a lot. I'm sure people have come up with hacks and ways around things, or maybe that's why people don't like this section. There may not be any ways around it. That one coming at me? No. Okay, so that one I should be able to follow in. Luckily, the other player is not currently following me. And yes, there is a way that direction, but that is just a secondary way to get to this path. I do want to aim for the corners just because I like having the little rest spots. I like the safe spots. I like knowing where the safe spots are, having time to chill in them. So like they are hanging out in a safe corner. And I'm gonna wait for the next dragon to go by. Not dragon. Dark monster. Jumping to get around. Yeah, that is what it looked like. Jumping up the side of the mountain. I think I haven't seen anyone do it. I tried it a little bit at one point in time. But yeah, I forgot that is a way to get through this. There are ways to jump through it. Not jump through it, but jump up the side of the mountain. And I have succeeded at that a couple of times. I forgot about that. Thank you. Just want to go this way. Oh, you're good. We're going this way. And this way. And we are almost to a save spot, and I really don't want to get caught on them because of that. There we go. No intention of having to go back again. This part I don't mind dying in because it's super simple and easy. Even if it's frustrating, there is something a little bit like zen about doing these. So the other person probably does know what they're doing. It's not their fault that I keep getting caught on their bars. I wish there was some way for us not to get caught on other players, whether it's friends or not, or like moths or anyone that we haven't. I guess if you've made an acquaintance with them, then you can get caught on them. But it's happened at very inopportune times, and I'm not a fan of that. So So it would be nice if there was an easier way to like turn that off during difficult areas. Okay. Done. I'm gonna take my light because it's part of the reason we go through these trials is to get this giant chunk of light. And it took me forever to realize that I could burn these monsters after we get the little bit of immunity we get at the end. I don't think I even saw someone else. I think I accidentally walked through one and was like, oh, hey. And then depending on whether I'm in a hurry for the run or not, sometimes I'll burn them, sometimes I won't. Almost done. Luckily there aren't any other side areas in Isle of Dawn, so this is it for light gathering here. I guess these are some of the few cutscenes we can't skip. I know cutscenes are cool, and I assume there are some people who like them. I haven't actually heard of that many people who enjoy the cutscenes, though. It's probably why. So for a really long time, or it might not have been that long, because it stopped a while back, but the entrance in Forest, when you enter into that first temple and it's raining, now I don't think they even offer you that you can skip the cutscene. I think if you've been through it, they just automatically skip the cutscene for you. But originally that was a scene that you couldn't even skip, the whole rain montage. And that was very frustrating. There was no real way around it. Yeah. So then they switched it to being a cutscene you could skip, but you had to skip it. And I think now you don't even have to deal with it at all, which is nice. As soon as I get out of cutscene, I'm just going to head home because there's nothing more to get in here. Although I do kind of want to see what they're at. They're at least double everything. Can't tell with what they're wearing. But to be fair, I look like I only have double of everything at the moment, too. It'll be a bit before I... Well, how far are we? Yeah, it'll be a little bit before I get all of my wedges back. Figure I might as well gather the light while I'm out. I don't even know what dailies are today. Oh, they're here. Cool. Should be simple enough. Oh, and they're little. That's actually a really cute outfit. Oh, I don't remember what gave streaked hair. I don't remember what that was from. Let's see. Daily candles, only one. Yeah. Or seasonal candles. Oh. Huh. Streaked hair is cool. I've seen it a couple times. I just don't know what it's from. Or new players get their rain. Yeah, new players get the rain thing. Until... I think they made it so that after you've been through Forest, it stops happening. There was an email or a message, in-game message, from the devs at one point in time explaining what they did. I just don't remember what it said. They did change it. I think everyone just was so sick of having to go through it. Because it took a lot of time, and if you were doing an actual run and trying to be fast as opposed to just exploring, it was time that was not fun to waste with the little... It was pretty. It's a nice, pretty animation, and I'm sure they're very proud of it, which is probably why they were making people sit through it. But I wish they'd do that with the Constellation Gates, too. I wish they would do the, if you finish Eden, the Constellation Gates go away. Except possibly the Eden one if they want to leave it. But it would be really nice not... Or if it was something like the first time you burn through it, it's gone. It's one of the few things that really does still annoy me. I've gotten used to it, but... Oh, that would be nice. That would be a very nice update. Just because as pretty as things are, and I totally get they're proud of it, if you're doing stuff daily, you don't need to or want to see all of that every single day. Most of us, I'm sure, have seen all of these cutscenes hundreds of times, and they stop being special or interesting. And I think it annoys more people than it does show off the animation skills. And I'm sure they pay a lot for it and all sorts of stuff, but for the players, it definitely seems like it would be better to just get rid of those. Need to start checking out what's in the updates. I used to read them. It's been a while since I checked them, though. Okay, we have one more candle somewhere. Probably next to one of the two side areas. There we go. Ah, okay. Yeah, I didn't watch those. That would be nice. Very nice. Is it skip all including the constellation gates or just skip all cutscenes? I haven't heard too many people complain about the constellation gates, so I don't know if I'm in the minority there, but cutscenes definitely. Plenty of people complain about those. I do get why constellation gates exist, and it is good to keep the newer players out of areas that they can't... Well, you know what? It's not that they can't handle them. It really is just making the world smaller, I think, to direct them. Okay, skip all cutscenes. Yeah. Makes sense. There's still a few that we get stuck watching. So if there was like a toggle or something that let us skip them after you've finished Eden the first time, that would definitely be a popular toggle. Whoops. Next time one of those... not info. Every once in a while, actually quite a few times, I get little in-game notes of give us any notes you have on the most recent season, all that stuff. I haven't actually thought to tell them that Constellation Gates going away after you've been through Eden would be lovely, but next time I get one of those, definitely going to mention that. It's only recently that I realized that's something they could probably do, and I don't think it would affect the game in any way. Might be weird for newer players to see people just walking through the gates, but it'd also be something to make them like aspire to. Knowing that eventually you wouldn't have to go through those. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can glitch through this door again. Or I guess not, it's not a glitch exactly, it's more of a trick the door into thinking I'm two people. Didn't used to work, and then I did get it to work last time I went through. And I'm gonna see if I can make it work again. Yeah, because the game is so about group stuff, it probably is meant as a reminder to not take younger people through or something along those lines. Because it's true, they do get rid of the quest barriers, like they did with the Season of Flight, pulling those barriers down, and just, they aren't doing as many of them. Yeah, cool. I like that we can do this now. I don't know if they meant to do this for all two-person doors, but at this point in time, you can open all of them by yourself. It's just a matter of putting enough light into it and then just quickly tricking the door. It's been a while since one of the seasonal areas... Yeah, see, like, cutscene, unnecessary. And skipping it I can do, but it'd be nice if I didn't have to. I think they mostly started with the quest. They switched it to... See, what am I even stuck in now? Oh, someone activated everything. And the worst is getting stuck in the cutscenes here and then having a manta grab you, which I may be supposed to do. I'm not sure. Let's see. I think I am, which is probably why people activated the mantas. Yeah, there we go. These days, mostly things are blocked by air and wind. And I think that started with the Season of Dreams, because I remember how many people were trying to get up to the Hermit's area until the beta players were like, yeah, we can't get there, and that'll be something that happens later. But when the area first opened up, there were so many people, including myself, trying to sneak past the wind. And I don't think anyone made it. They might have, I'm not sure. But it was definitely well locked off with wind. And I would assume they've found that the wind barriers work quite well, because you can sometimes glitch through the solid barriers, like getting to some of the out of bounds areas. Okay, let's see if anyone's in the 8-player door. It is nice when there's a shortcut to this section and you don't have to wait. I think it's mostly Days of Color. Well, there have been a couple other ones. Yeah. The Season of Dreams, you could only get... Okay, yeah, the Spring Campaign was the other one. Season of Dreams, it was in chunks. So you got the main area to start with. And you couldn't... Both of the boats were activated with the different quests. But it was 3 weeks between quests, I think. I have been playing since the Season of Belonging, which was November 2029. No, 2019. We haven't hit 2029. November 2019. I came in then, so close to the beginning. I downloaded the app pretty early on, about when it came out. But I had too much going on. Yeah. So I am not one of the players who saw the original Aviary, but I've been playing for a very long time, and I've seen so many changes happen. I don't think there were that many changes in the 2 seasons before I started. I am really sad I didn't start earlier, because one of the things I would have loved to have is the glowing umbrella from, I think it was Gratitude. There were 2 that happened before I played Season of Gratitude and something else. The ultimate gift for the 2nd season, not the first one, was a glowing umbrella. Yeah, Lightseekers. Okay, so it was Gratitude and Lightseekers. Lightseekers was the 2nd season, and its ultimate gift was a glowing umbrella. So there are a few of those out there, but there are not that many people who actually got that early on, and it's one they aren't going to bring back because it was an ultimate gift. You can still get the plain umbrella. It's come back quite a few times. It's one of the more useful ones, so I think it tends to come back fairly often. But that's the ultimate gift that I wish that I'd been around for. So unless you're a player who actually started at the very beginning, there's always an ultimate gift that you wish you had. And for me, it is definitely the glowing umbrella. And well, the glowing umbrella, oh, wait, did they make... Oh, they did, didn't they? They made that one you can buy in their store with a pin? I haven't paid attention, but yeah. I think they actually did make that one that you can buy. Oh, just an umbrella. There's a few umbrellas you can get. And they do tend to come back fairly often. The best one and easiest to use is that one, but there have been a few. Umbrellas are really useful, so they do actually tend to bring them back, I'd say at least once a year. There's an umbrella, of some kind. Oh no, this is still glitched. I want them to fix this. This is really irritating. Okay. So there are ones that you can get. They need to fix this area. It's been like that since color, and it's really unpleasant to play right now. Yeah, the Lightseeker Umbrella, it's been a bit since that spirit was back, I think. It's possible it's been over a year, maybe? I'm not sure. It came back quite a few times in the beginning because the rules are that spirits can come back after it's one season beyond their season. So when it first started, I think Traveling Spirits, I feel like it was a season after the Forgotten Arc, whatever that happened to be. It might have been Season of Light. When that started, there were only 3 or 4 seasons beforehand. So a lot of them cycled in very quickly. So players who started doing Traveling Spirits when they first came out actually had a pretty easy time getting everything, all the ones that they'd missed. So I do have everything from all the seasons beforehand other than Ultimate Gifts, because there's no way to get those, and I do like that they've kept it that way. I know a lot of players were hoping that they would make it so you could buy Ultimate Gifts somehow, but I like that they leave that as something that is only for the people who actually played through those seasons, because otherwise it would make it so that there's less reason for people to even buy season passes if you could just go get it later. So I am happy that they've kept that. And it means there's some cool stuff that I have, like the Phoenix Cloak, that I almost never see on anybody. Okay. I'm going to head to Sanctuary next, but I am going to go run to the bathroom really quickly, so I will be back in a couple of minutes. Going to leave myself safe right here. Okay, I'm back. So, time to head to Sanctuary. Yeah, so I am a player who has been playing a very long time. I have not necessarily spent as much time finding shortcuts and whatnot. I mostly use it as a chill, relaxing game that I tend to do while I'm watching TV or something. So there are definitely people who are more skilled at certain aspects of this game, but what I have is that I have experienced all the different versions. Almost all the different versions. And I know what has changed, and I know a lot about the different types of mechanics and ways to do out-of-bounds things if I so choose. I just don't tend to do it. I like the cosmetics, so my wardrobe is quite full. Once I finish this level, I can go check out the wardrobe and show you guys some of that. I don't think there's a wardrobe in Sanctuary yet. They've been putting wardrobes in most areas at this point in time, but I don't think they've added one into Sanctuary yet. And I'm glad they fixed this glitch. For a chunk of time, every time you went through that gate this direction, it would send you the opposite. And it turned into this somewhat annoying loop of trying to get through that gate. But they have fixed it. It's been fixed for a bit. I'm not sure how long. It's been fixed for a bit. And that's much, much better. I also like that they changed where this one was. That light used to be way up there on an island. Now it's way easier to get to. It was quite difficult to get to. When did they even change that? I think it was Sanctuary when they redid this area. But it used to be very, very high up. And you had to have a certain number. So these days it doesn't matter so much how you do your wing run, because they've made almost all of them fairly accessible. No matter how many wings you have. It used to matter, because there were spirits you couldn't get to unless you had a certain number of wedges to get up to them, or if you had there's a potion that it's like anti-gravity potion or something along those lines. You'd need to take anti-grav potions and recharge potions with you to get some of them, just because the max number of wedges was the max number of wedges was way lower. So they were intending for some of these to be somewhat difficult to get to, and I don't know if it was people complaining or them deciding they wanted something a little more chill, but they made a lot of these a lot easier to get to. Some of them will take time, like gliding between these islands is going to take a bit of time, but thank you. It'll take a time to get between these, but you can do it. Like, I've used 3 up. Most people have 3, and if you miss in all these areas, you don't have to recharge. You can use a geyser. So those are new things. 7 max, but you're not going to come in with 7. So if you're gathering your wedges, you're going to have fewer. Yeah, 7 max at launch sounds about right. But think about what you come in with. So if you've gone through Eden and gotten all of the buffs you can get just from the standard spirits, because remember, you didn't used to have access to any of the seasonal spirits after their season. That's a new thing. You used to have access to, I think there's 48 buffs from just the main spirits in this game. So that was all you had access to. So even if you went through all of Eden, you'd come out with, I don't know, I'd have to look it up, but it's going to be 4 or 5. Because again, there were way fewer winged lights just throughout the whole game. So you'd come out of Eden, even maxed out, with 4 or 5 wedges. So if you needed to get somewhere that took 6 flaps to get to, you couldn't. You'd have to wait until you got that 6th wedge. And of course, it took less and less time, and you needed fewer for all of that in the beginning. But there were ones that were definitely harder to get to because the max was so much lower, and to reach the max, you had to get all of them. So these days, I don't see it happen very much because we all come in with way, way more. But the one in Wasteland, okay, apparently this is today's spirit, the one in Wasteland that is on the top of that first set of columns, right when you enter, there used to be just tons of people trying to get up there because it takes quite a few flaps to get up there. Unless you're using some sort of technique. But if you're trying to solo it, it's gonna take a while to get up there, because before we had as many wedges as we have and as many buffs as we had. Yeah, exactly. That's something you can do now. And that's really cool, but that isn't how it used to be. It used to take way, way longer because there just weren't as many. So you can come in with a ton. You've had a bunch of traveling spirits, but remember, the traveling spirits didn't start until, I don't remember what year anything happened in, but I'm gonna say probably 2021. It's semi-old, but it's not from the beginning. So you didn't used to have access to anything other than the main few buffs from the main spirits. There we go. Come on, no more cutscene. So there were a lot fewer things that you could do. I don't think I can get up that way. So now, yeah, new players can progress so fast because you have access to the traveling spirits. So you can fly higher, you can do more. You have access to all these spirits all the time. It used to be these spirits would only show up. These quest givers didn't exist because the quests used to be given by a spirit at the gate. They weren't in the areas. So the quest givers did not exist, so you could not complete season challenges after the season was over. The spirits disappeared at the end of the season, and they would not be back unless it was a daily quest. And in that case, there was usually 1 or 2 from a season they'd bring back a lot for daily quests. But that was it. That was the only access to those. And when traveling spirits came, I guess it's... No, yeah. So since they're still there all the time, new players can go and you can activate them and you can interact with them right off the bat. But it used to be when a traveling spirit came, you'd have to go find it. Yeah. Even during traveling spirits. So it's actually very new that the spirits hang out. In the last year or two, maybe, you didn't used to be able to get to these spirits unless they were a traveling spirit, and then it would only be the traveling spirit that would show up. Yeah. So it's 2 completely different developments. And this way makes it a lot easier for new players, but it also makes it so there's less you need to do after you're done being a new player. So this way, as a new player, you have tons and tons of emotes to go gather as soon as you join. And you have access to all of them. Where is that star? That's not right. Oh, there it is. I missed it. Good. So, yeah. So for a while with traveling spirits, you would have to go figure out where they were. And it was kind of cool. It was actually really neat to have this spirit show up that you hadn't interacted with, and it would have a closed off friendship tree, and it would tell you, go find the spirit. And you didn't know where it was, so you'd have to go check through all the different areas. I remember spending forever trying to find the one with the sassy stance in Dawn, because it's kind of out of the way. Wow, okay, so it is really new, because The Little Prince is somewhat recent. Traveling Spirits in 2020 makes sense, because I think it was after the ARC season, which was early 2020. It was the first one I got a pass to. So I think the season of the ARC was probably the 3rd season, Forgotten Arc. 4th season. Probably the 4th season. And then having the spirits stick around and be there all the time, that is really new. So for a very long time, if you needed to get a traveling spirit, you had to go find it. And you had to hope you could find it and pass it, like the umbrella spirit. That one was really difficult in the beginning because most people didn't have the umbrella, and it's really helpful to have the umbrella to pass that spirit. Okay, I think that's everything, but I think for dailies I have to go to, yeah, Polluted Geyser. So I remember when that one came out and I really wanted the umbrella, trying to work with other players to figure out how to pass that, because most people who were on when that traveling spirit showed up hadn't been there necessarily when it first happened, and there just weren't as many players. Do I not need to go here? Oh yeah. Still need to melt darkness. So there weren't as many players or anyone who knew how to pass that, so it took a while to figure out how to pass that particular spirit, and you have a time limit. So the thing that happened with traveling spirits was that you had a time limit to pass these. So that one and a couple of the ones in Wasteland. These days, if you're a new player who starts, it's probably not that easy to tell what is a traveling spirit and what's a regular spirit. I don't remember if they're different colors, but there's not a lot of indication there of what is what. So you just kind of have a ton of spirits. But when it first started, so now you have tons of time to work on all the Wasteland ones, but those used to be very, very challenging ones. And they still are, but if you don't make it, you have as much time as you want to actually succeed at one of those spirits. When they came as traveling spirits, you had a time limit. You had 3 days to pass it, because it was only there, I guess 4 days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You had 4 days to pass it. Okay, they're a little different colored. So if you know what you're looking for, they're a little bit different colored, so you can tell what the difference is. But it doesn't really matter anymore. The only difference is you can't get at their friendship trees until they come back. But when they first started traveling, you had your time limit, so trying to pass one of the harder spirits was a really big thing. Because now if you fail it, you can walk away for a couple of days and it's fine, or you can keep trying. If it frustrates you, you don't have to pass it. With those traveling spirits, if you don't pass it in those 4 days, it's gone and you have no idea when it's coming back. And you can't unlock the tree, you can't get anything from it until you pass that spirit. Okay, yeah, there's no longer any sort of cutscene here. So it was definitely a lot more stressful, the way that traveling spirits used to be. Whereas now you've probably already made friends with the spirit. Every once in a while, someone hasn't because it's a wasteland spirit they didn't want to deal with or something along those lines. But for the most part, people have already dealt with the traveling spirit, so when they come back, it's not a big deal. And you can just go right to unlocking their friendship tree and getting whatever you want. So that's definitely one of the things that they've made much easier about this game. And I would assume it's something that's popular to have it be a little easier like that. I'm glad these doors don't glitch out as much as they used to. This is another place you used to get a lot of people stuck because the door just wouldn't open. And that was before the treehouse season, so there wasn't any way around if you did get stuck there. Okay, I do need to melt darkness for today's... Oh, I'm done. I don't need to melt any more darkness. Dailies are done, so I am just gathering wedges at this point, although if I see a candle cake, I will probably get it. Yeah. But also you can see, like, with that, I'm at, what, 11 now? 10? I think I'm at 10. Yeah, I'm at 10, so I can just fly right up to that, but these are here. You only need one to get between them. But before we had as many wedges as we do, these were actually a little more challenging to get to. had to pay more attention to your light. I have enough that I don't even pay attention to like keeping an umbrella with me to make sure that I'm safe. It's been a while. I have done stupid things like walk away from the game while I'm in forest and lost wedges, lost light. I don't do it very often, luckily, but I always feel very silly when I do that. I usually just get distracted. In forest, get distracted by something shiny, and then forget I was playing. And those are, of course, the times where the phone decides to keep the game running instead of closing down. And I come back to a completely out of light little creature. And I have to go get more. It's frustrating. But it's been a while since I did that, so that's good. I am curious if this campfire is functional again, because the last time I came through here, it wasn't spitting out any light. The last 2 times I came through here. So I wonder if the new patch fixed it. No, it is still not spitting out light. Interesting. These also did not used to spit out those balls that you have to burn. Okay. There are definitely bugs. That's everything for that section. And this is where I tend to head into the treehouse area to grab those 2, just because I usually forget to go there before here. Sometimes I wish they had a little more light for this particular season. There was some cool stuff when this first happened, and getting to build the treehouse was neat. I have not yet figured out what the pattern of raining versus not raining here is. I'm sure there is one, and I'm sure people who hang out here a lot know what it is. Or people who look it up, but I have not. I don't tend to hang out here. Realistically, I don't do a ton of just hanging out in Sky. I mostly run dailies, gather stuff. I like wardrobe. I don't think there's one in here. Let's see. Should have plenty to get up here. Unless I run into something, but yeah, I'll still snag that. For anyone who wasn't around before they remodeled the place up behind the 8-player door, that's kind of what the old winged light was like. And it was much more complicated originally. There was no way to find it at first unless... There wasn't any way to find the original winged light there unless you knew it was there, because it was literally inside a tree. You couldn't actually see it, and the only way to know it was there was to fly up the side of a tree and see that grab feature show up. So unless you saw someone else do it, there really wasn't any way to know that it was there at all. So then they fixed that to being in a tree like that, with the opening, you could see it. And then they changed the whole area to look the way it does now. But the initial one was definitely... I don't think we were supposed to have access to it. I think that's what happened. I'm pretty sure it was something that was supposed to be something we got access to later, or it may have just been a bug in programming that made it so we couldn't see it. And then they did finally figure it out, but it was that way for at least the first year that I played. Oh, good. Up to 11, which means I shouldn't have too many more to go. I think I can glide all the way over here. Yeah, there's some pretty interesting stuff from fairly early on that you really had to learn from other people. Because while the wiki is really good now, it wasn't. These days you can use the wiki to find whatever you want, but when it first started, not that much was on there. So even if you wanted to use it to find stuff, you weren't going to have complete lists of things. So your best bet really was to just follow a player and hope they knew what they were doing. And I think they've debugged this bridge for the most part. I don't bother using it anymore because it was so badly bugged for a really long time. It used to be that it didn't matter if you set it off or not, it wouldn't come up, and then getting to the lights inside of it was difficult, and it was a whole thing. That's why I don't bother setting it off. And sometimes you would get the light here just by flying here, and I haven't had that happen in a while, so I think they fixed that. But I'm not sure. There are some things that just stopped being worth trying to do until I see somebody do it and it works and I realize it's not bugged. So I'm sure there's stuff that I'm missing just because I got tired of it not working. This area has definitely been upgraded too. I don't think it was ever exactly difficult, but it's definitely more interesting now. And it is nice that there's another way to get into the underground caverns now, because that would take a while, having to wait for someone else to show up, and every once in a while someone would come by that didn't actually have the stomp emote, and therefore could not get into the cavern. Should have grabbed it. Yeah. I think for today I will head through the end and then probably call it a day. The end of forest. Then do another run maybe tomorrow to get the rest of them. There are just so many now. It used to be something you could gather all of them in like maybe 2 hours. But it's turned into such a process. I rarely get through it in one day anymore. Which isn't necessarily bad, but it does mean that I don't tend to do eat and runs very often just because it's so involved to get all of the lights back. I used to do 2 eat and runs a week when I first started because I wanted all the wedges and I wanted to open all the trees. But I definitely don't do that anymore because it would take me the rest of the week. That would basically be my entire week. Yeah. I got really attached to having all 12 of my wings. I like flying with that many. I know I don't need them. And like when I was in university, they can't see what you're doing if you're in a big lecture or if you have online classes, so I did a lot of runs then as well. But since I don't have as much downtime at this point, I don't tend to have the time to do those kind of runs anymore. Also, so you can do the wing runs while you're gathering light now because you have maps. Those maps are new and they're unbelievably helpful, but they didn't used to exist. So you used to have to remember what you'd gathered. The one that I would miss, so you'd have to remember what you gathered and then count. So either memorizing how many were in each area or something along those lines. My system was usually to go by how many were in each area and then make sure that my total count after I left a specific area was what it should be. Because that was the only way to tell. So also when you got hit and lost any of your wedges, there was no way to know where they went. Now you know. Yeah. So with the map, you don't have to remember what you've gathered. It's amazing. And it makes life so much easier. But without the map, before the map, I would do specific wing runs and make sure to finish a section before I stopped for the day, because I'd have to make sure to get everything in it. And when you've done 600 wing runs, it all blends together and it becomes impossible to remember what you got this time because you did a wing run 3 or 4 days ago. And that's where it got really difficult and where I stuck with just doing wing runs only, because any distraction and I wouldn't have any idea what I'd gotten that time. Yeah, it makes it easier. This is a piece that I'm glad they made easier, because it's so much less stressful to get hit by a dragon now, or crabs, or just to lose anything. There's not the same, like, great, now I have to go look through everything, because that's what it used to be. If you lost a light, now, if you didn't want to, you could just see if you could randomly come across the one you happened to have lost in whatever daily run you were doing. But other than that, you'd have to actually actively go and look for them. And if it was your last one that you needed in order to get however many, the maps are super new. I think they're this year new. I'm not positive, but I think they're this year new. So there were a lot to try and remember. And I think they must have finally realized that there are too many for people to have to keep track of. Okay, maps for Aurora. Oh yeah, I remember, because I had set off the Aurora thing instead of the map that I was trying to light. Yeah, makes sense. Some maps for Aurora, which was sometime last year. I just don't remember specifically when. So by then, they haven't added too many new winged lights since then. There are 3 in the season of the deer. There aren't as many new areas. Okay, so I'm just gonna go show off my closet a little bit. And then I am going to be done for the day because I have other work I need to get done. So most of these are standard except the dress. That one's accessible. It is accessible, it's a secondary unlock. And then, where are we? Those are all normal. That one's not, I don't remember what it's from though. And then these are, what are the snowsuits from? I think these were no. These were early? These might be Light Seekers? No, because I have all of them. I'm not sure what these are from, I can't remember. Flight suit was Season of Flight. I don't remember what that one is. This one is Season of Dreams, it's one of my favorites. This is also Dreams. Then this one is from the Treehouse one. I feel like this must have been Little Prince. This one is Little Prince and it should still be accessible. That was the ultimate. Oh, okay, so I must have actually gotten Little Prince. Because I think one of these two is Ultimate Gift, one of them is actually accessible. And Season of Flight are some of my favorites. One of these is an Ultimate Gift. I think it's this one. I don't remember. I like them. Oh, I think that was a theater season, maybe. No, that would be, these are theater season. Then these are Aurora. What is that pattern? I don't remember. Maybe the Memories one in the archive? can see I slowed down and I don't have everything from more of the recent ones. I think those are the deer, nine-tailed deer. Yeah, I have that one. And I think this is... I think this is a Halloween one I have. But yeah, the ones from this season are gorgeous. Although they're kind of repetitive, aren't they? And then boots are a new thing. Shoes didn't used to exist. They're pretty neat. Okay, I don't actually want to wear that though. I will stick with... I like being a pirate. I'm going to keep that. And tons of masks, tons of hair. You can actually see those just by looking at them. All sorts of neat stuff. I do like... This is the ultimate gift from Season of Flight, and that is one of my favorites, so I'm going to keep that. But I did work very hard to get my bow. I like the bow. But I feel like Flight right now. And cloak-wise, there's a lot. Lots and lots. I don't remember what all of them are from. See the chunk, the black ones are little prints. I don't remember if these are in order. Is the thing. I don't think they are. I think they ended up being some of the later ones are. We have special ones down here. Okay. Well, that is what I'm going to do for today. Tomorrow I will continue on, probably tomorrow or the next day. See when I have time to finish this off. But thank you everybody for hanging out with me today. It was a lot of fun and I cannot wait to do more. And I am going to sign off. Bye!